Hi guys, I'm Catherine and I am back with another book related video. This is going to be my October wrap up. I unfortunately did not get through all the books of my TBR, so there's going to be about 3 books left out. It's going to be Chalkman, Gone Girl, and Campfire. I was not able to start reading those, so I'm going to put them in my December TBR. Or in my January. It will just depend. So this is going to be my wrap up. Let's get into it. So the first book, it is The Patient by Jasper D. Witt, and this one I read in one sitting. I have a couple issues with this book. Kind of remind me a little bit of The Silent Patient. It takes place in a insane asylum, and it is about this guy who has, anytime a person talks to this patient, they end up committing suicide. And there's like some supernatural elements to this book as well. He's some type of creature that feeds on fear. And I don't know. As you guys know, I really didn't care for The Silent Patient. I really didn't care for this one. Probably gonna give this one 3 stars because, for one, it was short and it had an interesting idea. It just, for me, it didn't really deliver like I was hoping, and it does have some creepy aspects to it. I don't know. This one just wasn't my favorite book. And even though it was short, the audiobook was only 4 hours long. I don't know. And then I also finished it. I don't know. I just didn't really care for it. It wasn't what I was into. I've read books before that taking place in an asylum. I've read one where it takes place in like a children's mental health facility, and I liked that one, but this one I didn't really care for. Okay, my next book is going to be Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, and I have a review up for you guys on this one, so I'm not going to really spend a whole lot of time on this one because my review is already up. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and it is about a girl named Rowan Kane, and it takes place in London, and she works as she works with children, and she works in like this thing. She works with babies and children of pretty much all ages in a daycare area, and she decides that she keeps seeing this ad popping up for a nanny, so she decides to apply for it. She applies for it, and then she was hired by the mother to watch her 4 kids, and it was amazing. I loved this book. I loved just the twists and turns and the things you find out about this character, and the questions that, did she really do it? Is it something, or is she lying to get out of it? You know, I really enjoyed it, and the ending for me was shocking. The ending for me wasn't a disappointment. It was actually, I enjoyed it. Even though this book doesn't exactly have a happy ending, I still enjoyed it. And maybe it was because it had a little bit of that horror, a little bit of that isolation, and a little bit of mystery. Like, I loved it. Something I would definitely read again. The next one is going to be My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. And this one, I have mixed reviews. I have like mixed emotions on, because at one hand I really loved it because it felt like it was like a B-movie flick. And if you go in knowing that, and you like B-movies, and like it was kind of like, for me, like, I read The Exorcist, I've seen The Exorcist movie, so I thought, like, with my thinking, it was going to be more on the lines of that, but this one is more of a funny type teenage vibe, and it's in the 1980s, and it's about these two best friends, Abby and Gretchen. And it just, in the first part of the book, it goes through their growing up, what Gretchen's parents are like, how strict they are, and some like hardships that they've had to endure when they were younger. I mean, I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. And it's, I also have a review for this one, so I don't want to spend too much time on this one. But I liked it. There were some parts I didn't like. Those parts I can't get into because it will ruin the book for you. So I gave this one, I think, either 3 or 4 stars. Probably, I might read it again. I probably will, but this one I just have to see because I wasn't really impressed with this one either. But the next one, it's by the same author, Grady Hendrix. It is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. This one I absolutely loved because this one was more of the horror, like scary, mystery type things that I love, especially in horror, and some of those creepy scenes. And you guys know I'm not a big fan of rats. I said it in the book review. There was this part with a bunch of rats in it. But I really enjoyed this one, and I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. It is a little slow. It's but there's stuff that happens. Like it's slow, but it's not very slow. Like it does pick up. I definitely love the ending. I definitely feel like there's great character development in this one. So this one was 4 out of 5, and this one I also have a book review on for. The next one, this one, it's The Deep by Alma Katsu. I probably butchered her name, but this one takes place on the Titanic, and it also takes place on the sister ships, the Britannia. I think I said it right. And it takes place between two different timelines. So one is when they're on the ship of Titanic, and the other timeline, so it's like 1912 through 1916, and 1916 is when they're on the sister ship. This one, this one was interesting. It was, I don't even know how. So this one is kind of, so it takes place with several different characters. It takes place with Annie Hobley, Mark Fletcher and his wife Caroline Fletcher, Madeline Astor, Benjamin Guggenheim, and so each chapter goes back and forth between these characters, and Annie is kind of obsessed with Mark. Like, she has a thing for him, and on the ship, this is when they're on the Titanic, and creepy things start to happen on the Titanic, like supernatural things. But the thing I have an issue with, this one is good and more like a September read, not really in October. I mean, it had like the supernatural stuff in it, but it was very few and far between. This was more kind of like a love story, but it was creepy enough to consider it suspenseful. But this one I would definitely read in September. I did like it. I mean, Madeline Astor believed that she was cursed, and this Benjamin Fletcher did a seance. I mean, again, it has some really good aspects to this book, and I was a little disappointed. The ending was super tragic, which is I'm all gonna say. And I have a book review for this one. This one I think I gave like 3 or maybe 2 to 3 stars. Definitely I might not read this again, even though I'm a big fan of the Titanic. I love reading things that pertain to the Titanic and like the history. This really didn't have any history. It was just like, I don't know, it was really, I mean, it was okay. I don't think I would read this again, even though it wasn't bad. The next book and the final book of this wrap-up video is gonna be the Companion by Kate Alender. This one is a YA, and it takes place with Agatha and Margot. Margot's family died in a really bad accident, and then she was shipped to like kind of like a modern day like boarding house / orphanage, and she wakes up every night screaming of the nightmare of the accident, and then someone comes to take her in to foster her in this big mansion, and come to find out in the book that the father that took her in, her father saved him from drowning. This is why he wanted her in their home. But in order for her to kind of stay there, Margot has to be the companion for her daughter. And Margot was kind of nervous because the daughter doesn't talk. She has, the mother says that she has a disease and it affected her from talking. And this one, I really wanted to like this one. It didn't pick up, however, until like the last few chapters, like chapter, I want to say 27 to 28. And I felt like the relationships in this book were really kind of rushed. Like there was one where with the brother where they have this kind of like relationship, and it felt like it came out of nowhere. So I would have to give this one 2 stars. This one would again be not so good for a October read, but it would be good for like a December read. But I wouldn't really recommend it. And Agatha, she can't talk, so Margot is basically just trying to help her get through stuff. And I don't know, this book, I really didn't care for it. Like halfway through, if I wasn't reading it for a blog, I probably would have stopped reading it and put it somewhere. But I finished it, and not only the ending was okay, like I kind of expected the ending, but the problem that I had with it, like it really didn't explain a whole lot. It didn't really, I mean, it explained about the mom's family and what they kind of like believed and why she was kind of doing it, which it kind of made a little bit of sense. But then this book was also a little bit confusing, just because like there wasn't a whole lot of character development in this book. So I would give this one 2 stars. So that is my wrap-up video for this month. As always, please like and subscribe to my channel. I am Catherine, and I will be posting my reading list, or my November reading TBR in a few days. And that one is going to have a lot more books with a lot more different authors, and it's going to be a collection. So what that means, a collection, it is going to be 3 series that we're going to read in the month of November, and it's going to be rather long. So you guys have a great and safe day. Bye.